McCann, left side. And Gunnar Henderson, monster shot. The Orioles have the lead. It's a home run for JT Realmuto.
Guys, I don't even know what to say. Big League Bucks, guys. What's up, guys? I guess the story of Squiggles really dates back to 2021 when I was at my Arkansas farm hunting another deer that I had nicknamed Willie. This was a special 8-point. My Arkansas farm that year was loaded with big 8s, and I was really targeting them. But when I was hunting this deer coming down the same bench on the side of a ravine, I saw a wide, young 8-point with a little squiggle to his brow tine, and he walked right underneath me. Now, this was well before I had a hunt show or even thought about starting a hunt show, so I just named him Squiggles. I think the theme we're gonna go with from here on out is Major League Baseball players, what we'll name our deer after. But Squiggles kind of hit the map the very next year. This would be that next year. I assumed he was probably 4.5 that year in 2022. And he wasn't really a deer that we were gonna target. He was wide, he was an 8-point, but we had much bigger deer on camera that we wanted to shoot. So every time he became daylight, we just never really chased him up at that spot. Fast forward to 2023, I had always watched Casey Smith and his videos on hitting Instagram and learned a lot from him. And I had kind of reached out to him. He had reached out to Big League Bucks and said, hey, I like what you guys are doing. And the more I got to talking with him, the more I started realizing he's a very avid outdoorsman. He's a real hunter. He likes to get after it, and he's a killer. So I told him in 2023 that, hey man, my Arkansas place can be really good if we get inclement weather. In years past, up on the north side of my farm, I'll have a food plot there. I got a clover plot established. I'm gonna have fall food there that's gonna last all through the winter. If I see that and I call you, you need to get in your truck and come, because we'll be able to get on a good deer. Well, the 2 deer I had showing up there was Batman, who I've done videos on before, and Squiggles. And I said, look, these deer are well into the 5.5, maybe even 6.5-year-old range, and they'd be 2 great deer I'd love for you to target on my Arkansas farm. Well, the first cold front comes in December, and Casey couldn't break away, and I said, hey, no big deal. I'll call you on the next one. Well, the next one comes in real quick, and he starts seeing all the daylight pictures, and immediately he calls me and says, hey man, I'm on my way.
All right guys, we're out here on a late season hunt in the Midwest. If you can hear the wind a little bit, it is freezing cold right now. We had a big cold front push. And the high today is in the teens. Low is going to be in the negatives tonight. We're slipping into this big creek bottom here off the edge of this bluff, going after a big mature 8-pointer. A couple other deer in here that we may shoot as well, but archery hunt tonight. We're going to slip in here nice and quiet and see what happens. So, wound up having a good hunt tonight. I think we saw, 20 deer? They were so close to the blind that Zack had a hard time even getting the camera up, and we had deer inside of 10 yards almost all night. There were even deer when we were coming in. So no bucks showed up tonight, but tomorrow we're actually going to head to a different piece of property and try to sit on a different food plot. Got a couple of good shooters. One of them's like a 7.5-year-old 8. And see if they show up. The high tomorrow is in like single digits. Lows and the wind chills are like -15. So they got to eat at some point. See what happens. I'm about to tear this chili up. Morning, guys. We are in the blind this morning. It's -2, wind chill at -15. So we decided to tuck in this ground blind instead of trying to wear it in a tree stand. We've got 3 good bucks that have been coming in here. Usually we'd sit in the afternoon in these conditions, but one of them was in here at 9 o'clock yesterday morning, so we're going to try to tough out the cold and see if we can get one. Alright, so we're about to slip out of here. Had a really good morning. We actually saw 2 real pretty young bucks. One's a real nice 9 that in a couple of years is going to be a really good deer. Saw like 8 or 9 does. So got a lot of action, especially for the weather we had this morning. We're going to slip out, get some lunch, and then get back in here early because it's supposed to start snowing. So this evening should be really good, so we'll see what happens.
So guys, when we're sitting in this blind, when I say it was cold, we had 2 Mr. Heater buddies in there, and they were as tight on us as they could possibly be, and we could still barely stand it. I really don't know how we would have gotten and sat on that deer for that long in that kind of weather without that blind and with those Mr. Heater buddies. So when I say it was cold, it was cold.
Well, we're back in here this afternoon. I am fired up right now. It has started snowing at about noon, and we've already got a good 2 inches on the ground. Saw a bunch of deer this morning, but if there was going to be an evening that I felt like the deer are going to move or we're going to see a stud, it's tonight. So a bird literally just tried to fly in the window. I'm really excited. Being from the south, I don't get to hunt the snow very much, so this is freaking awesome. So hopefully one of the big boys shows up.
So we had a quick weekend to hunt. We ended up running a baseball camp, which was great for the kids. And we got that inclement weather that we needed. And Squiggles came right out and gave us a shot. And I remember Casey looking at me, he goes, buck, 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 buck. And as soon as I looked through the window, I was so excited. My adrenaline was going. This is a deer I've looked at on camera for 4 years. And I got the camera on him and I forgot to hit record. And as he's saying, you on him, I look and I don't see that red dot. And I had said yes, and he shot, and I hit record just as basically at the same time that arrow perfectly hit that deer. And the only thing I got was the deer almost running into the blind with us.
Almost ran in the blind. What just happened? Oh my, he almost ran in the blind.
You kidding me?
Did that just happen?
That's Squiggles.
Bro, he almost ran in the blind. Like, he literally almost ran in. I can't stop shaking.
Dude, you just shot a 7-year-old buck.
Let's go.
Dude.
Let's go. There's blood all over the freaking snow. Bro, he ran right, he ran 3 feet from the gun.
Dude, that's the oldest, is that the oldest?
That's the oldest deer I've ever killed. Like,
Dude, we gotta call my dad and tell him to bring his shit out here.
dude, I don't know what to think right now. Bro, he literally stepped out, like, right there. Like, I mean, he was at 15 yards. And, bro, he's super wide. I had no idea how wide he was until he literally tried to jump in the blind. Like, that deer is trying to jump in the blind. What just happened? Oh my good night. Bro, that deer just tried to run in the ground. Like, what just happened?
I've never had a deer do that. I was looking at the camera and I could see the deer and it literally looked like it was gonna run into the blind. And I think he nicked it, the Squiggles nicked it with his shoulder when he went by. And the look on Casey's face when I put the camera towards him was like, almost just got ran over by a deer I shot. So there was a lot of adrenaline going there. So I apologize that we didn't quite get that kill shot on camera, but we got really good after video of the blood trail.
Hey, if he's not right here, like, if there's not a ton of blood, he's not right here, let's get our stuff, like, pack up, go to the truck, then we'll come back and look for him. But I think I double lunged him, like, I hammered him. But I need you to see this. Look at the blood. The blood's right there beside the blind. Okay, let me go get my arrow. I want to see it. Oh, there he went. Hey, literally right the trail we came in on. See his tracks? It literally, when it hit that rock, it shattered that broadhead in half.
You ready to find your deer?
Yeah, I'm ready to find him. He's torched. There's arterial spray everywhere. I think he went this way. Hey, this is what's crazy. There's the blood trail. Like, when I tell you this deer literally tried to jump in the blind, the blood is right here. Like, I was sitting right there. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. I think we're in good shape. Bro, look at the spray. Like it's just spraying everywhere. He's right there. He's right there. He's dropped his antler right there. Look at that. You gotta be kidding me. Bro. I gotta be careful with this one. Look at that. Dude. Well, that's what he was. I've never had that happen in my life. Where he literally shed it right here. Dude, look at the mass on that dude. Like, look at that side right there. And then look at this side. Like, that gives you a good comparison. Hold on. Oh, dude. Look at that. Like, he's like super thick, bro. Oh. I can see the blind from here. We're 40 yards from the blind.
The history with this deer is just so cool. So you guys enjoy it, and Squiggles is always gonna remain here in Arkansas with us just a little bit, and his mount will be down in Alabama for a long time.
All right, guys, here we are. It's 2024, and to do this deer justice, we have to go all the way back on my personal Arkansas farm to 2019. 2019, this deer got his name Squiggles due to his brow tine right there. In 2019, he had the most squiggle on that brow tine he ever had. And then in 2020, my father-in-law found his shed out working on the farm on the skid steer. That's his shed right there. And then we really took more notice of him back in 2022 because we just kept getting pictures of him. He was a wide 8, good mass, still the squiggly brow tine, and then he became on the hit list. Well, 2022 comes and goes, and we don't get a shot at this deer. And 2023 comes in, boom, my father-in-law gets him up on the central food plot, and this deer is gotten good mass, we could tell on camera, but still has not done much. But he's becoming a legend on our farm. And my dad ends up picking up his shed from that season, and you can see that little squiggle right there on his brow tine. He still has it, still carrying his name. And lo and behold, here he is. And tonight was a great night. Casey looked at me and said, "Big buck, big buck." And as soon as I saw that deer, due to going all the way back to his 2019 season, I immediately said, "It's Squiggles, shoot that deer, shoot that deer, shoot that deer." And Casey made a perfect shot on this deer, and it was awesome having him out to hunt with big league bucks.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. Like, obviously, you know, from a herd management standpoint, you're trying to shoot older deer, and this is a great example of it. And I can tell you, I'm fired up. Like, sitting in that freezing cold temperatures and to be able to shoot a deer like this, like, I really appreciate it, dude. Like, this is awesome.
Awesome. And my father-in-law actually built a blind. You'll see in the video. He's the best builder in Bentonville, and he built a blind. There's no way we could have stood these temperatures and been comfortable. We were comfortable today hunting in conditions that we should have been uncomfortable in. So a big shout out to him and what he did to help. There's so many, my dad keeping the feed out, my father-in-law letting me use his machinery to get that food plot in there that obviously ended up being his demise. So that closes the book.
Craziest thing is this deer literally almost jumped in the blind. Like, the blood trail was beside the blind, like almost on it. So like that was one of the most insane things I've ever seen happen, like after a shot.
If that window was a little bigger, he
probably would have jumped in there with us. He's probably too cold. He just want to come join us.
That's awesome. Well, congrats, bud.
Hey, appreciate it, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks again, man. I'll put the horn down.
Awesome.